Paula McLean has asked, I've heard that white hose are not appropriate and makes you look inexperienced or novice. Is this true? What about off-white?
Okay. Cream hose, white hose. All right. The white hose craze or cream hose craze kind of started in the 1980s with pipe bands. Thanks a lot, pipe bands. And then from there, it kind of morphed into the tartan hire or the kilt rental industry or kilt hire industry. So to me, and from there, it just kind of grew legs and has continued.
Legs. I see what you did there.
I am not a fan of cream hose. I am on record as saying I'm not a fan of cream hose. I have a new thought on why. I've never phrased it this way before. They lack personality. Not the person wearing them, but the hose themselves kind of lack personality. When you get into wearing kilts and you start obsessing over the details and you start thinking about your outfit and evolving the way that you put things together and the colors that you want to play with, or the shirt that you want to match with the kilt, or you have multiple kilts and you have multiple browns for your sporran and all this kind of stuff, you start thinking about color theory and things in a different way. And in that vein of thinking, cream hose are kind of boring to me. It's not interesting. It's not something I want to go to dinner with and talk about. But you can do so many more interesting things. So in my mind, why pick the most or the least interesting option for your hose? I would rather do, a color to match, or to pull out one of the different colors in the kilt, or a color to match your jacket or the top that you're wearing, or I would do two-tone kilt hose. But I would rather do something interesting with the hose to play with it a little bit and do something different, and not just white because it matches everything, or white because it's boring, or I couldn't make up my mind, or it matches everything, so that's the one I want to wear because it matches everything. I would rather do something a little bit more interesting as a conversation starter. I'd even rather, and I can't believe this is about to come out of my mouth, I'd even rather see a pair of red hose, which I still hate, by the way, a pair of red hose, like bright red, than cream hose. Are you that hateful, spiteful of your cream hose?
I don't go as strong as you, but I also don't wear cream hose. Cream or white, for that matter. I won't go so far as to say that the people who wear them have no personality.
I didn't say the people have no personality. I said cream hose have no personality.
I think I'm a near daily kilt wearer, and as such, I wear my hose a lot. So in that regard, they're just gonna get dirty. They're gonna look dingy after not too many wears, and that makes them not a good value for me. I can appreciate for very formal wear, sometimes offsetting the white in the shirt is fine, and certain types of hoity-toity events, white gloves kind of attitude. I wear white because I don't get dirty like those peasants. Mm-hmm. That's not the type of life I live. So not that I'm
he's actually a slob. He spills on everything.
Not that I'm in my kilt cleaning out the barn either, but I'm never gonna wear cream hose. I'm not as hateful and spiteful as some, but they're never gonna be for me.
Emma, are cream hose for you? Do you like cream hose?
Interesting. So I do occasionally wear hose. I've never worn cream hose. The coloration issues would be like after a few wears would start to grate on me, I would say. But when I'm putting together an outfit in the store, I don't tend to be so hateful, so awful to the cream hose sympathizers out there. It's not terrible. I do like cream hose in one scenario. I like when you're decked out in your full PC and you've got the brogues on, you can see the contrast of the brogue laces against the hose, and you get this like full, almost like if you took a picture from, so many years ago and you're standing right there, you look just like that. I think that's really cool. Not just like that. You look close to that. You look cool,
I'm picking up what you're putting down on the contrast thing. I think that's a very good point.
I agree. I think you can get just as good contrast with a good pair of colored hose, though. Like an ancient blue with that tartan, you get a fair amount of contrast to your black shoes.
You can get a fair amount. You
Yeah.
can't get the same amount. Black
No.
and white are literally the furthest apart you can get for contrast.
So I've heard.
But you can. I agree. You could still get a reasonable amount of contrast
Yeah.
in ancient blue or ancient green or like oatmeal, like a stone kind of color. I think would be nice on like a weathered tartan or something like that. So I think you can still attain the contrast to your point, which I think is valuable. And I like that better than I like having some contrast with ghillie brogues than like black. Black, it just, you might as well be wearing just regular wingtips. So interesting side point. Very nice. I still hate cream hose. Still wouldn't do it. Formal or not. But the contrast is a very good point.
Contrast is good. If I was going to try to, and maybe I wouldn't do it with this kilt, I'd want a kilt that maybe had some cream in it, even if it was just a subtle white stripe. What about like, it's a black shirt, white tie, white flashes?
White flashes,
It's a fair amount of contrast.
I could see.
I've heard that white and black are pretty opposite.
I've heard that as well. A wise man once said that. I can see white flashes. It still wouldn't be my go-to because it's
Same.
it's a bit much, yet at the same time boring. But it's different because you don't see them a lot. So maybe it could work.
Especially if you had a dress tartan on, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe. But I think I would still probably pick a secondary color in it, not white.
I tend to agree.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So what's your take? Do you think, like I do, that white hose are horrible and have zero personality? Or am I being too harsh? Let me know down in the comments. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you disagree with me, give me a thumbs down.